I was raised on a family farm under an endless Saskatchewan sky. My favorite perch was on a hill covered in ancient stone carvings of animal tracks, turtles, human hands, feet, and heads, and at least one complete human being. Sitting there, you could look farther than you could see and imagine the world had no edges, only horizons. The night sky had as many stars as the prairie had blades of grass. Everything was countless. It made me a dreamer. I loved to watch dancing loops of light all around me. They were beautiful and entrancing. I noticed one went into my forehead, and my mind began wrapping words around it. It seemed to me these loops were thoughts, and some of them became mine. One way to describe my time with cancer is to say I have re-entered the realm of dancing light and radiant thoughts. It is like being at the core of a sphere and being able to travel any radius to a point on its surface. Like finding life can move in any direction, beside, behind, in front, above or below, in the blink of an eye. This is both liberating and disorienting. It is nothing I would ever have wished for, and not something I now would wish away. Childhood was harder for me than cancer has been. Our family home was not a house of hate, but neither was it a made-for-television ideal. We were 8 strong-willed people, each with our own versions of the stories that happened beneath one small roof. I had painful eczema, was susceptible to sickness, and by the time I was a teenager, had developed allergies to just about everything on the farm. This meant I could not be outside with the others feeding cattle or working in the fields. But there was plenty of work to go around, and all 6 children learned to do our share. My chores mostly involved housework and cooking. One day, while I was helping Mama make her bed, we were chatting away and she said she and Papa had wanted only 4 children. She saw my little face drop and my eyes fill with tears. I was child number 5. She quickly said they were so happy that I had been born. Years later, as I was trying to understand the roots of a lifelong depression and suicidal ideation, I learned that a mother's emotions during pregnancy have an effect on the unborn child. I remembered what my mother had told me and thought of how difficult it must have been for my parents to be expecting another child when there already was not enough to go around. I was grateful she had let it slip. It helped me to forgive myself and to have more compassion for all of us. By that time, I had experienced more than enough of my mother's love to know I truly was wanted. Doing household chores was perfect for me. I worked as hard and fast as I could in order to steal a little time to play the piano and sing. From the age of 3, when that magnificent, upright grand piano arrived, it was my solace and portal to dreaming. Everything else disappeared as my little fingers learned the magical order of keys that created the music already in my ears and voice. I did not formally study music during my school-age years, so I was unqualified to pursue a classical music degree at university. Eventually, I found my way to a jazz school where I studied vocal performance and composition. I later studied classical singing at colleges in the United States, but after years of dealing with thyroid disease and chronic allergies, the hourglass was running out of sand. I reluctantly surrendered my dreams of a performing career to become a singing teacher. I was both surprised and grateful to learn I do not have to be the one singing in order to be happy. I love teaching with all my heart and soul, and I continue composing and performing on the side. My passion for the human voice has never diminished and continues to lead me through life. For years, I lived in New York City and eventually applied for permanent residence. When my petition was denied, my O1 visa also was terminated. I moved back to Canada and lost everything except who I had become. I found myself in my mid-50s with no husband or children, no home, no work, and no pension. It occurred to me I also had no overhead, no dependents, no obligations, and no debt. I was in the perfect position to do something new. I could use that freedom any way I chose. I decided life was giving me a sabbatical and poured myself into writing my first book. My father died. I met a choreographer and casting director with whom I started an integrated arts program for children. I was diagnosed with cancer. We closed the business and I began teaching privately again. My mother died. By the time I began cancer treatment, I was up to my hips in illness and loss. Fortunately, events that caused me to return to Canada gave me access to universal health care with no deductible, copay, or conditions. I now needed that more than other material assets that had gone by the wayside. My life has had times of difficulty when I could not see the light, but in hindsight, it has always seemed to be magical and blessed. I might have felt sad and isolated during childhood, but I had that piano and the sky and dreaming to see me through. In later years, I felt more than a little disappointed that I never married and had children, but living independently, without the demands of a family, I've been able to explore wherever my curiosity and passion led. While most people I know grow through building a marriage and raising children, I have developed through endless effort to stay afloat while enduring solitude and rigorous hours of reflection. It is tempting to look at someone else's path and think it is better, but that is like saying the heart works harder than the lungs. Each life is like a cell in the collective body of humanity, and it is enough for each of us to live into our own design. The way each of us navigates cancer is a chapter in the healing story of humanity. Many new thoughts arise because of it, and the experience can change how we have always thought about things, including memories. Those of us living with cancer find we are constantly learning, but not necessarily the same things as one another. We are alike in surprising ways and different in countless others. Every person has a story to tell about having cancer, and although they are all different and unique, they are the way we come together to create a circle of knowledge. On the following pages is my story. I began sharing it as a series of talks I gave about hope and healing at Glebe Road United Church in Toronto. I wrote the talks not only for people with cancer, but also for anyone else with a life-threatening or chronic illness. They are for caregivers and loved ones who are as profoundly affected as those with illness. We all are engaged with the demands of illness and healing, though we do not always feel we are in it together. We may not always relate to one another's experiences, but we can still be inspired by each other's insights. I could not have guessed how much these talks would support my own healing, and I've been humbled by the degree to which they have supported others. As an artist, I mine the raw experience of my life to interpret and express what has beauty and power for me. This practice colors the way I see what happens to me and predisposes me to a certain kind of reflection. I realize cancer is not a doorway to creativity for everyone. When you do not have health care or other resources needed to survive, cancer is a frightening disruption and a recipe for becoming overwhelmed. It is precisely because I have had a different and radiant experience that others have encouraged me to write about it. I am not trying to give advice or present steps to take for healing. I offer this text as one offers any art. It is meant to be company and to encourage others to cherish their own experience. It is my love song to life and to you.